Good evening, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Werewolf Wednesday here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I'm your host, HCS. For those tuning on Restream, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. How's everybody doing this beautiful evening? I hope everybody is doing well. As for me, I'm hanging in there, brothers and sisters. Let me share out this live feed to the groups that allow me to share on Facebook. But yesterday's was having some technical difficulties. I don't know what was going on, but hopefully we won't have the same problems as we were having yesterday. I reset everything, so we should be good. How you doing, brother Andres Carizales? How you doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. So here we go. Let me share out this live stream real quick. There we are. We're all shared out, brothers and sisters. What do we got here tonight? Maybe I'll lighten this up a little bit brighter here. It might be too bright. We got Andres Carizales here tonight. Is this a cowboy hat? If y'all didn't know where the vaquero originated from, which means cowboy, it originated in Mexico. The cowboy hats and all that originated in Mexico before it was even in the U.S. This, if you look it up, that's where it originated from. West Mexico, the vaquero, the cowboy. And so you got all kinds of things over there. You got horses jumping the jump rope. You got people dancing with the horses in Mexico because that's where they're originated from. You got before they were even it was racing horses in the U.S. It was already racing horses in Mexico. That's what the origins is of the vaquero. The cowboy is from Mexico. Of course, here we are on Werewolf Wednesday. See who pops up here tonight. See if cousin Jesse jumps on here tonight. You know, that's his favorite night of the week. I know he's been, he comes on for a little bit and then it gets off. I guess he'd be doing physical therapy and stuff still. I'm not sure. But yes, here we are. Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Yeah, this hat here is my new hat that I have. I've been wearing cowboy hats for a while. My grandfather wore a cowboy hat. Would dress up, and he sombreros, whatever you want to call it. So I remember him wearing it, the boots and everything. So I followed suit, just like I followed suit. My son has the same thing. See, I have some initials on the side of my head here, on this side too. One side says Warrior, the other one says Iron Knights, which was uh, the name we used. We called ourselves Iron Knights when I was stationed in 135 Armor in Erlangen, Germany. And this I have this hat. I have a couple of hats, sombreros or cowboy hats that I wear when I go out. So I figured, why not? Why not wear the hat? Uh, you see some people they crunch up their hats. There's people up there in the mountains, the hillbillies, that have them all crunched up and all this stuff. Uh, everywhere is a different estilo or different style. I don't know if Jesse's gonna come on tonight. Unless you got some Scooby snacks for him, he could be in ninja mode. I don't know. So this is a shirt I have on here tonight. So let me share it with y'all. Let me light this one up. It's a werewolf. It's got a sword stuck on it. It's got a sword stuck on its back already. There you go. Of course, y'all know that I bought the shirts for Werewolf Wednesday, so I got a lot of shirts for Werewolf Wednesday because I got shirts to wear for whatever topic we're speaking of. That's why I bought it. I felt that it would be cool to wear something, as I'm sharing stories and stuff. You know, I'll wait to see if cousin Jesse's going to jump on here or show up tonight. I don't know. Since I hadn't been doing any Werewolf Wednesdays, I figured why not just do one today. I bought me this at the VA. So walking stick. It's got the logo here for the military, for the army, and it's got a picture of a wolf right here. There you go. And I'll use that sometimes. Especially while my leg is healing. While my leg is healing, I wear it. There's cousin Jesse. Oh, he came out of the woodworks. There we go. There's cousin Jesse. How you doing, cousin Jesse? So sorry, today we will not be talking about Bigfoots. We will be talking about things in the nature of lycanthrope, werewolves. What the people nowadays call dogmen, but or other variants of dogmen. I don't consider that. I call them the DDN, disembodied demonic Nephilim, shapeshifter skinwalkers, wendigos, unclean spirits that can manifest to look beastly. So today's topic is uh, Werewolf Wednesday, and I guess let me bring my co-host real quick here into the picture, or let me share the picture of them real quick. Let me find them. Then we'll bring cousin Jesse on if he wants to jump on. There we go. There he is. Cousins Jesse's cooking werewolf. That's what we call him. But we know he's an unclean spirit because it's daytime on this photo and it's darker than night during the day. I have the full photo of it, how tall it is and where it's at. It's actually on on top of some trees. So I'm gonna drop the link for cousin Jesse if he wants to jump on. I don't know. Let me drop the link for cousin Jesse. There you go. And I'm gonna pin it up on top. Whoever is in the stream chat, you'll be able to see that it's pinned up on top of the show on stream. There we go. There's cousin Jesse right there.
How you doing, cousin?
Jesse,
Do I sound okay?
how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I got my I finally got my truck here,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave it to my daughter. So now each one of my kids has a pickup.
Oh, that's good.
It's not like I can drive. Hello, Beyond the Box. Hello, Andres.
So who we got here jumping on here? Let me see. We got Beyond the Box. Werewolf Wednesday.
Hi, Juan. Mm. Cool hat.
And this is not a person in costume, folks. I got the regular picture. Let me show you the regular picture of it.
Yeah, that's not me in costume, and that's not Abe running around his pickup. Hello, Ronnie Man.
I'm going to show the regular photo.
Hello,
Then
Alan.
we go back to that one. There's a regular photo,
Wow.
and you can see him up there on top of the tree line. Pretty tall. It's either tall or is climbed a tree. One of the two. I'm thinking it's tall. There are several in this photo. Can you see the cruiser, Primo?
Yep.
There's several here. There's one. This is cocaine werewolf up here. There's another one standing here,
I see
and there's
about
one here. You can see the face of this one.
I see about five.
Several here in this photo. The cocaine werewolf. He stands out the most. That one and probably this face is close by.
Hello,
But yeah,
Cloud.
there were several behind me. So this is for the people that are like, okay, where do you get this photo? Well, it's an actual photo. It's not a person in costume. It's not no AI. This is an old photo from Elms Grove from like around 2000 and I would say 15, 16, somewhere around there. It's an old photo. Or no, 2014, somewhere around there. I'm just showing the regular photo. I am in the picture. I was following my senses and I angled the camera to see what was behind me because I heard some movement. And here you go. So that's here is where I captured Cocaine Werewolf. There he is.
Wow. Hello, Julie Coons.
Oh yeah, is very big, and I do have spiritual encrypted encounters on YouTube. A lot of short reels that I can share of different manifestations that they take. Also on TikTok, I have APCS 895, where I have a lot of short reels there too, in which it shows you more of the picture on TikTok. It's just TikTok has been. I haven't really placed anything no more there because they're I don't know they're pretty strict there, or it's like if you don't follow their rules and regulation, you're out of there. But then you see a lot of people doing a lot of crazy stuff, and they do nothing to those individuals. So sometimes when you bring things into light, you get targeted. Just like yesterday, we were talking about, and I said I wasn't going to mention them. Yeah, you could say the Patterson film, the person in costume, and they didn't like that, and we got booted out of here like 3 times because we're speaking the truth about it. I think Brother Andres Carizales was here when that happened. So I reset everything just to make sure it was not a glitch or something happening within the system. But here we are. And in this and what's this live here on Restream is for adults only. That's it. So we can say a lot of things that it shouldn't be no problem if even if we cuss a little because it's for adults only.
Yeah,
So how you been, cousin Jesse?
you don't need no little kids up in here, man. I'm doing good, man. I managed to go up and down the ramp by myself.
That's
Getting
good.
down was a little bit of a problem because the fucking dog jumped on me. Excuse my French.
Wow.
I almost fell due to a dog, but I climbed the ramp by myself. No problem.
That's good, cousin.
Hello, OZ. So what's up, cousin? You all moved in already?
Yeah, I'm already here at my house.
Awesome, awesome.
We just haven't. My wife's been setting up a little bit at a time, and I hadn't even set up my minerals or nothing. I wanted to set up a certain stage in a certain area, different area, but I hadn't even done that, because my leg, I injured it. So I've been
Yeah,
just elevating it, trying to heal.
I've seen pictures of your leg, man. Yeah, keep it up. Keep it
Yeah,
up high, man, because that shit's fucking purple, man.
yeah, yeah. The purple already went away, so it's healing. Then I heard something dealing with
Wow.
that he, I guess I don't know what to call him because he's never really been in my life, but did they release him from the retirement home or something, or the home that he was staying at because he went psychosis or something, and
You
now that he's
wanna
back at the house in Raymondville.
you wanna block that person?
Was
Different
it?
different nephews, 7 BBQ, one popularity by viewed on Ibero. What?
Oh, let me take that off. Took it off.
Yeah, I can't do nothing from right here.
But that's what's going on. Something happened at the where we was staying. I just got a call today that he's back at that house in Raymondville.
So he lives a couple of houses down from Sylvia.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I heard. So I don't. I mean, I can't really do nothing from over here.
Hello, Donita.
I know that he gets those checkers and stuff, but I'm not living down there. I told him why they even release them. They should have kept them in there because nobody lives there. We don't live there and we don't have a relationship with them. But we'll see what happens the
Isn't he
days to come.
missing? Isn't he missing both of his legs?
One leg.
Wow,
So they dumped him there, man. It's crazy, right?
wow,
They tried to say that he had an episode that he went like local or whatever. That he heard some patients or something like that.
wow.
I don't know, man. All I know is that I got my blessing right now, and I just barely moved in, and I'm just gonna leave it up to God. I prayed and stuff for Him to make things happen, which He always does. Then my aunt, she's in the hospice right now. The one that was taking care of him, or in charge of him. Her youngest sister is in the hospice with a. She's, I'm not going to really talk about her, but she's got is very very sick. And I prayed for her, prayed for him. Sent my prayers earlier here at the house.
Wow.
A lot of things been happening, man. Trying to stop me from a blessing, but I'm not going to let
No,
uh,
man. You
bad
keep
things
going.
or unclean spirits from a blessing.
You
I don't
keep going
know.
where you're going, man.
Yeah, I don't know if you know anybody that does like. I know they got services where people go take care of the patients in the homes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do, man. But not if you're gonna attack them.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know the complete story, man. I mean, he's been living there for about 2 years, and that's never happened. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long he stayed there, but the only thing I can say is,
I'm good, I'm good, Ozzy.
the only thing I can do is play the flute.
Yep.
Since we're talking about flutes and sounds, I got a question for you, cousin. Do you think that the flute or the sound of the flute uh, either calls, or interfere, or yeah, I would say call. It's like a call, right? Like we've heard the stories of Peter Piper, how he controlled the
Correct.
piper with the rats, and we know Pan carries a flute. So do you think that's a form of communication? When
You
it,
gotta understand that Satan was the angel of music up in heaven, man. So the flute has to have some kind of power. So to answer the question, yes, I do think it does have that kind of some kind of power.
yeah, because I know when I will see the bats and they're flying very low, I will whistle and it'll mess up the sonar. Um, when I was having the encounters in Elms Grove with the dogman, or I'll just say werewolves, or DDN, uh, I could hear a low pitched whistle because it would even hurt my ears. It was a device that somebody was using, low pitch whistle. I don't know if they're using it as punishment to the animals if they had a pet, but it was even affecting me that I could hear when they would blow that low pitch whistle. Is it like they were calling them, or something was up? When people
Something.
always try to say that dealing with the government, that the government might be involved in it. I believe the government knows things because of incidents that happen, and they do have satellites to track anything. If there's anything anywhere, they could track them through the satellites. They'll find the hot spots and track them.
Wow. Yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, I believe that the flute has some kind of power because, like I said, Satan was the angel of music back when he was in heaven.
We got Flower says werewolves use sonar and frequencies. Sonar and frequencies. Well, most animals use sonar. I think one of the, I think it's the lion and the tigers will use some kind of frequency vibration. I don't know, it's a vibration with a kind of like snakes. They use the tongue as a vibration to sense, right? So if the snake could do that, then I mean, just talking. I know it's not they're not dealing with the Werewolf Wednesday, but for example, reptilians, if they do exist, right, they will be able to use probably their tongue, right, to be able to sense what's around, and I'm more sure the sense of smell and their
Yep.
eyes at nighttime, especially to hunt.
I hope you washed your hand, Brenda.
Infrasound. Yeah, I know the one that I crossed in the path in Elms Grove. I said that one didn't look like this. It was huge. It looked completely different than this. The ears was not pointy. Um, the it was crawling. It was like on all fours on the ground, but it was all muscle. It had to be like, man, it covered the whole path, so it had to be like 12 to 14 foot long because it covered one side of the woods all the way to the other side of the woods.
Wow.
Uh, his body looked human-like, but it wasn't human because he had fur. It was muscular. He had a face like a person, but the ears is what stood out the most. The ears had it like a they were black, like like a what do you call it? Like in the speakers got those things that vibrate. What do they call them?
The cones.
The buffer or the
I
one
know what
that
you mean.
vibrates. Boom, 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 boom.
I call it a
Oh,
cone. But yeah.
yeah, the ears were like that. It had black on them, and I noticed that when he kept on turning his head, he was like maybe an inch up to half an inch off the ground, but he was using nothing but his legs and arms, very muscular. So it wasn't touching the ground. It was very low to the ground, like on I guess stealth mode, and he kept on moving his ears. You know, they kept on vibrating. They kept on looking, and he had white eyes, but and I guess he couldn't see because the sun was still out and the sun was setting. Then when he looked back toward me, I wasn't trying to move because I seen it, you know, and I wasn't trying to move or breathe. And next thing you know, it hit me with some kind of frequency that it felt as if I zapped or that like if I got flipped upside down or something. Like everything went upside down on me. And when I came to, I was falling down and I caught myself. So when it turned back to look, I was like in a squat position, but I wasn't moving, and I almost hit the ground.
So
And
it
the people,
affected your vertigo.
yeah. Uh,
High jumpsuit.
and then I just wouldn't move, and I said, "Man, he's going to charge me because he knows that there's something not the same there no more because I'm not standing up. I'm in a squat position." So I'm thinking, I hope I'm trying to stay calm as possible. As I hope it'll charge, but then it just turned around and went into the woods. But I'm glad that it didn't charge. I guess if I would have made the sound of me hitting the ground, it would have charged. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If it was something that's the flesh or whatever, it would have charged as soon as I hit my butt would have hit the ground. It would have come at me. It was huge, man. And
Wow.
that's the one that I believe went into the underground sewer system.
Wow.
I had my phone in my hand. I just couldn't do nothing, man. Because when you see something that big, you're like you're not trying to. It's like you're trying to hide, but you can't hide really hide because you're in the open in the middle of the road of the path. So you just have to stay still. You ever play the game Simon Says?
Yep. You have
Oh,
to
one,
make
two,
sure
three,
that
red
you
light or whatever.
have to make
Yeah,
sure that Simon says
man, I was frozen, man. Didn't move. Yeah, Simón dice that one had light grayish hair, short hair, and he had black dots all over his body, around this big, black dots all over his body.
who's it?
So I don't know. It was something out of the island of Doctor Maru, man. But whatever it was, it had black dots on his body. The only thing I could think that has black dots like that in Texas would be kind of like a wildcat, right? Or what do you call them?
Yeah,
Cougar.
cool. Hey man, didn't the flower backwards spell werewolf?
I think so. Let me see how cougar looks.
Cougar is tan, but when it's a kitten, it's got spots on it.
Yeah, it was no damn cougar. What's the other one I'm looking for?
It's a jaguar or cheetah.
Let me see. I can find. Yeah, big cats with black dots, and none of this that shows here looks like what I've seen, man. This had black dots on it, black circles all over his body,
Wow.
and there were big circles. The closest thing to it would be well, not even. I see the jaguar now. It was dots, black dots. Yeah, I don't see none here. That's why I know it was no cat. It didn't have no tail. It had no tail like a cat. It
So,
literally looked like a person, man.
so it was a.
Do you think it possibly could have been the possible uh, shapeshifter, skinwalker?
It was either a skinwalker or a reptilian.
No, it wasn't a reptilian because it had no scales or nothing like that.
Hmm.
The face looked like a person, but
Wow.
the 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 nose was different. The nose was high, kind of like a nose of a vampire or something. The bats, how they're up like this, and the eyes were white. It had like a human face, looked like a human face, but the ears, the way they were with the thing vibrating, I knew it wasn't something that was, how should I say, human. I don't know what
Human?
it was. you know, all I know it was huge. I know where it went to. It went into the
The sewer.
into the sewer system. there's a big metal plate that's pretty heavy, and he moved that, there's stairs that go down in there, and it went in there in the sewer system. So I got a question for y'all. Do you think these things could be, for example,
Hello, Primo Ivy.
for example, that maybe somebody made it with an animal or something? You know, when we talk about the Nephilim, is it something that could have made it with an animal, or someone that made it with some kind of animal, and
Some possibility.
the offspring, you know, kind of like when you hear the stories about hillbillies and stuff, or the wrong turn, right? Do you think it's possible that something like that could have happened? It didn't look like a hyena from the face. It looked like, I think I might have the picture. How I think it looks. My other phone that had all the photos gave out. The phone that I would debunk all the videos. But let me see if I can find the closest thing that I think it looks like from the face. That one, I think it was always following me in the woods. Always in stealth mode. I mean, if they're territorial, then you go into the territory. What normally happens, Primo?
You become lunch.
Let me see if I can find the photo. But go ahead, cousin Jesse. Whatever you want to talk about. Since it's Werewolf Wednesday. So what is your theory or your take on when people talk about Dogman or attacking people?
Well, as you well know, Primo, I've seen a couple of live werewolves in my time, and I've seen people chase after, and I've seen them disappear into the ground. But it is just my opinion. If I had kept running, they would have trapped me from behind. But yeah, I have seen them. I know they exist, and anyone who claims otherwise is a big fat lie. I know that they were in spirit because, like I said, the one that I seen disappeared into the ground. It left the awful stench behind, and that's what made it a spirit.
Yeah, I got the picture, man. This is what I'm trying to describe to you how it looks, and I know that it's still in that area. Um, I'm getting to the picture right now. Just got to backtrack here from all my photos that I put on here. Here it is. This is. Pay attention to the nose. How the nose is. I believe this is it. That it was on the prowl looking at me because I recognize the face. So here we go. Let me share this footage here so y'all can, and I can do a close up of it.
Oh wow,
There it is right there.
I see it.
You see the face, how it looks, and look at the nose. That's not human like.
No, it's not.
It got beastly features, but the nose is up, like I was telling you. And that was looking at me. I heard some movement, and I took a picture of where I heard the movement, and that's what I captured. Let's take a close look at the face. There we go.
Wow.
You let me know which one looks better, Primo, that one or the other one.
That one looks. You can see everything right there.
There you go. In which you could tell it's not a person, and then you could tell it is something beastly of some sort. So
Wow.
I'm gonna drop a link here. I know it's World Wednesday. Maybe Andres, I know Sister Brenda's still here, or she fell asleep. Maybe they want to jump in and you know put their sense in this.
Well, I'm glad you're trying to get other people on here because I'm about to get up and go to bed, man.
Oh, you're tired, Primo?
Yeah, it's been a long day.
All right, Primo. Well, thank you for jumping on, Primo.
Hey, it is my favorite time of the week.
So,
Or
what do you think about
Thursday.
this cousin? This
I don't
photo
know.
here.
I don't know, man. That thing right there is something different. I haven't seen something like that.
Do you think that that's a possible shapeshifter skill mark?
It could be. It could also be a Wendigo, a small one.
Oh, but it was pretty big. Like I'm telling you, like 12, 14 foot. It covered the whole path. This picture, the original picture is further out, but I just captured the. I seen the image looking
Okay.
at. I just want you to pay attention to the nose. You know how
Yeah,
it is up.
yeah. I see the nose is way up high.
So what I'm trying to tell you, do you think maybe also there's another one that comes to mind when it comes to noses real high like that? Which is it is a manifestation that would take in folklore, would it, which would be a nasurato,
Yeah. Yes. Because the fucking nose is way up high like a bat.
like a bat. Here you
Wow.
go. Somebody said the goat of Mendes is named after a place in Egypt. Apparently, Egyptians had sex with goats. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm showing you the proof. This is from a photo here. There's not no person in costume. This is legit, and I do plan to go back there one day and see if I can capture anything. But I just don't. I hope I don't run into it, man. I'm not as stout as I used to be, or as it'll be a fight. I would want to heal first before I even go in there. If I decide to go back in there to investigate.
Well, I hope you heal good because like I said before, it it did some kind of fucking noise and it messed up your equilibrium.
Yeah, it messes with your equilibrium. Then it can do whatever the hell he wants to do. It can drag your ass, or whatever it does. Everybody's a little bit tired tonight.
Bye, Abby. Okay, primo. I'll see you later, man.
Orale, primo. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, God bless you. We're doing jumpsuit zero. There we go. This is a capture that I have here from Elms Grove. Look at the nose. The nose is real high, kind of like bat-like. Yeah, this is like a completely different image than the beastly manifestations that I got on my short reels. I'm just showing you how it looks. Imagine running into that when the sun is setting. You're by yourself, and you're seeing it. You hear movement. You turn around and look, and you see something just get in the middle of the path and cover the whole path. That's what happened to me. That I froze. I did not move. I did not run. I was just looking, and it was massive. The eyes were color white. You couldn't see, I guess, because the sun was still out, and he was using the vibration of the ears. He kept on moving his head, and you could see the ears vibrate like a sonar or some sort. But it was massive. Uh, Thank you. If I understand when you talk about alien I mean genetics or whatever, but you figure if something is like that, they will have something to control them, right? Showing something, some kind of way that they're being controlled by something, whether it's something around their neck, around their something on them that is controlling them, that they can track it or whatever. You know how they do the animals that they tag them, something that nature you'll be able to see. But nowadays, like the dogs, they put tags in them, microchips. So maybe it might have had a microchip or a tractor in them to track them, to see where they're at and stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking. If they do have some kind of trackers, it would be that they track and in the military. In the military, we have every tank is connected to the satellites, so the satellites know exactly where we're at because they can track us. So I would assume if they do exist in some kind of way, that the government is tracking them, they probably let them loose and they know exactly where they're at all times because they're tracking them with the satellites. So the only they have to do is follow to where they're at and see if they can see what they do or whatever, or maybe they let them loose in certain towns, certain cities that they're running a test. Anything's possible. I know that's what they used to do in the past. Uh, when they were running the pesticide or to kill the mosquitoes. I can't remember the name of it. And all the kids are running behind it. The little truck pulling the little thing blowing out the smoke. Then kids are running behind it. They don't know that they're getting exposed to the chemicals, in which I was one of those kids. And then the smoke will go into the homes, where there's other kids that might be asleep or whatever. And that right there by itself could affect the inhaling that could give you bad side effects, in which I believe that there was many people that got Cancer was one of them, and heart attacks. Even people that work in the fields exposed to pesticides, they got very sick, very ill. So there's a lot of things that can have exposures, but I believe they do. If they are tracking them, it's that way with the chip that they got in them, that they know exactly where they're at, how many they know how many they are. But there's one problem. What if these things are breeding with other animals that are not being tracked? So yeah, they might track these things, but what if they're breeding with other animals? Breedings with, for example, cougars, mountain lions, wildcats, coyote. What if they're breeding with other animals that you can track, and these animals are having babies or having litters of these things that are, you could say, altering, you know, they have capability to breed with animals. So what we're having possible, if the same thing that the washers did, we're having the same thing happen again, right? It's just other animals that are breeding and they're growing fast. You can't track them because they don't have a microchip on them, or they're not being tagged, which is a possibility. I'm trying to look at it in many ways. And of course, they're living underground. They know how to hide. And why would they go underground, brothers and sisters? Normally, satellites can only track on top of the ground. So these things will go underground or deep underground, so they wouldn't be able to track them down where they're at. So I wouldn't be surprised that they have dens or layers or in the caves underground where satellites will not be able to track them. Just a couple of theories that I'm thinking of here as we're speaking. Yeah, I mean, cell phones can only cover. Sometimes you lose. What happens with cell phones? Sometimes you lose connection in certain areas. So if anybody wants to jump on here with me, I know there's some people that are tired. I'm thinking about going. Let me see what time it is right now. 12:27, like around 1:30. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure. Maybe y'all want to jump on and let's talk about this. Of possible things that the government might be doing to infiltrate society. There you go. If KH wants to come on, I'll drop a link. There you go. Oh shoot. And what I'm talking about, the technology I'm talking about, that was when I was in the military. So I know the technology is more advanced now. I'm talking about when I left the military, like in '99, and we're 2026. So there's a lot of technology that's out there, that new technology. I mean, back then, I remember they had equipment that could see through walls. You know, satellites that could see where you're at all times. That's how Bin Laden got found, and that's how they have that advanced. Well, they have high tech technology to be able to track somebody down. I used to see them out there on Fort Hood, but I don't know them as DMs. I know them as werewolves, and the history of Fort Hood itself. I know about the Tonkawa, which were they call them dirty Indians, and they were cannibalistic. They would eat humans. And when you hear that, then you hear, okay, we know they're into some kind. They were cannibalizing things, and you got two things that could have happened. One would be if they did practice the dark arts. That would mean that they shipped skinwalkers through witchcraft and necromancy. That's one. The other one is since they were eat human flesh, then they got a curse, right? The curse of the wind IGO, or yeah, wind IGO or wind EGO, whatever you want to call it, that they're cursed. So they roam Mother Nature, and they have the abilities to shapeshift, mimic voices, mimic sounds of animals, person sounds, knocks, whistles, wind chimes, lawnmowers, vehicles. That's how they get you. They deceive you through the sounds. They've been here for a long time, so they know the sounds. Just like the DDN, the somebody demonic Nephilim, they can mimic anything. That's why I always tell people, no matter what you're seeing, put it to the test. If what the government has, if there are the offspring of the DDN or the Nephilim, if the DDN that they're in spirit, they're unclean spirits, if we can overcome them when we type under rebuke them in Jesus Christ's name, then we can overcome the offspring also in that manner through Jesus Christ. Type under rebuke in the name of Jesus Christ. And I think that's the way we can defeat them, is in the same way, because it would have the genes, right, or something dealing with what created them, which you'll be able to tie binary rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. And that's why I believe our government wants to keep Jesus Christ out of the equation. It doesn't tell people about tie binary rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. And that's the key right there. That's the weapon we can use spiritually to overcome these beings. Oh yeah, they're everywhere. They're day and night. They're out there day and night. Yeah. How you doing, cousin Gilbert? So let me take this picture off for right now. I could paste other pictures. I think that I ran onto out there during my investigations. How you doing, Sister Cynthia? Yeah, I got pictures of the witches. There are witches there in Elms Grove. I got a couple of photos of them, and of course the things that come out of the portals that they manifest or conjure up. I mean, let me see here. Let me look into my photos here. But if anybody wants to jump on, there's a link right there. You want to put your, talk about what we're talking about right now. Let's talk about it. Me, honestly, about what I witnessed and experienced, even though it looks real, I see it more as in spirit. You know, not unless not unless they are real. I mean, I had closing when those six surrounded me, and that's when I knew there wasn't real as in an animal or something beastly, because I said the deliverance prayer, the Our Father, and they acknowledged it. They said, the Holy One, the Holy One. So that's letting me know that those beings, they acknowledge Jesus Christ or the Heavenly Father. In some kind of nature, there were spirits, unclean spirits, or possibly demonic spirits. So when I said the Our Father, it was an automatic that they had to acknowledge the Heavenly Father. Yeah, and I know if I would have said, I type out and rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ, that they might have fled, but I was numbered by many, which were six of them. That's the reason I went to the prayer of the Our Father. I didn't, my spirit didn't tell me to type out and rebuke him at the time. But then I started type out and rebuke him in the name of Jesus Christ after that, and they were vanished. They would flee or disappear. Let me see if I can find something here for you all. Yeah, you can hear they can mimic voices. So, oh, there's Sage Cooley right there. How you doing, Sage Cooley?
Oh, I'm doing, man. Just had a happy Easter. Did you have happy Easter?
Me, I didn't celebrate it. I was busy moving.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I had to finish out the move. We did a lot of moving on the weekend, and we're done by Monday. Was our we were done, and we already turned the keys in and everything where we're at, and we already moved everything to the new home where
Well,
we're at
that's
right now.
good. That's good.
But yeah, so you had a good Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. I had a good Easter Sunday, and then what was it? Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday I went out on like a 3 mile long hike. Just quick
And
loop
you had
hike.
any experiences?
I mean, I saw some pull down branches and stuff like that, but
Branches that are bent.
yeah, like literally bent like at a 90-degree angle, but without breaking. But
Yeah, I
it's
run into those out there where they're hanging like that, like a arch.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can always go with a route that it's ice and wind and snow,
Yeah.
but there's also been accounts of different, cryptids or whatever being in the area. I didn't experience anything. I took about 20 photos, took some pictures with my camera, but yeah, I had a good week.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Let me see. Somebody says the Hindu god Shiv lives on Mount Kailash, which is known for Yeti sightings. Yeah, I had a lot of things happen, man. Like now, I got blessed with we got blessed with a house and everything, and just a lot of things started happening. It's like whoa, one thing after another, man. So I just the only thing I can do is leave it up to God's hand and just pray. Nothing dealing with like me, I'm recuperating from a leg, but things were happening with the people that are around me. It's like golly, one thing is not one thing, it's another. So the only thing you can do when something like that happens is just go into prayer. That's what I did today, is pray for guidance from the Heavenly Father. Then I said, well, you know what? I'm going to do a Werewolf Wednesday tonight because I haven't done a Werewolf Wednesday in a while. And cousin Jesse, he's trying his best when he jumps on here, but he gets tired real fast, which is understandable. But yeah, I'm just wanted to do one just to talk about things that I did put a lot of these things that I witnessed to the test by rebuking them in the name of Jesus Christ, and they disappear. So when you do things like that, right, and you fight spiritually, and things were happening in a positive way, which I felt that when things like that happen, that means that you're winning the spiritual war. But then at the same time, you got society and you got life, people around you, they're living their lives. And if you were to bring something up to what I'm speaking about right now, they're going to think like something's wrong with you because you might say a story to them, what your experience is or something, but then since they haven't experienced nothing like that or seen anything like that, they're going to say, "Oh, this person needs some." Then you see some doctors. They're hallucinating. They're seeing things. You see, when you capture them on video and you have the proof, well, then that solves that. That when you have the evidence to show the people, which I got a lot of short reels, you got the proof. And that's one thing that you need, right? When you say a story and you show the people what's there. And even then, some people are going to see it. It's, oh, I see that. I see how they're moving, how fast they move. Then you got some people that say, well, it could be this, it could be that, which that's common, right? But only other thing I can say is when you go through something, only you know what you've been through. So, kind of like you, Sage Cooley, when you went through what you went through, when you see the one standing and stuff like that was looking at you by the vehicle, was it? I think it was you, right? That it happened to the Bigfoot. I think it was a Bigfoot, or was it a dog man? That you went through it and you remember. It's when you go through something, you're never going to forget it. It's always you're going to be able to say it like that because you remember what happened to you. Compared to if somebody says, "Hey, well, let me look into my notes." When they say, "Let me look into my notes," they have to write something. It's like, wait a moment, something ain't right with this. But if they're telling you their experience from the top of their head because they experienced, you know, you can tell when a person is being sincere, and you can tell when a person is lying.
Yeah, yeah. You can tell when someone's just trying to fit in, and their whole operation is just a lie, like a complete farce. You can absolutely tell.
Especially
But
when the story changes like all the time. Every time it's said, it continue. It's not the same story. It's always different.
yeah, but I'm not gonna like bash on someone keeping a journal. Like even marksmen in our military have something called data on previous engagement journal, and it's a reference journal to reference back on for their wind speed, the distance, the temperature, basically all the barometric pressures when they're engaging at a long range distance. So I understand what you're saying, but a catalog of data to keep down to write down, to physically write down, because like video footage isn't going to be around forever. People can hit this with an EMP and destroy data can be destroyed. But time and eternal, writing down society's histories and writing down the cultural aspect of it is important. So I can't necessarily say that writing down a history is a bad thing or writing down events is a bad thing, because we need it for the future. Because even things that happened 250 years ago that are written down are important things to our culture. So there is a preservation aspect, but I understand when people change their stories and everything. My Bigfoot encounter itself, out of all the paranormal things and wacky things I've experienced in my life, I mean, some people just don't believe him. That's perfectly fine. They don't got to believe anything. But I don't totally bash someone that has a journal.
Well, it's not I'm talking about journal. I'm talking about they're having an interview, and you're sharing the story. They bring you to share your story, and people want to hear your story. And as they're sharing the story, they're not even showing their face. As they're sharing the story, then I was, oh, wait a moment, let me look into my notes. It's something that you experienced that's affected your life in a dramatic way. You're gonna remember exactly what you went through. Like just like me, I remember everything I went through in Operation Desert Storm, play by play. It's possible maybe some people might forget things, but when they say let me look into my notes or let me look into the things that are written, that's to me, that's kind of suspicious to me personally, because I don't have to look into no notes to say a story or my experiences of what I've experienced. But maybe some people are that way, that they're slow and they have to write down because they forget things. It's possible.
So are you worried about the whole notes thing is because they'll probably add details that weren't in the encounter itself?
Well, to me, I'll just say it's scripted.
That's kind of what I meant.
Scripted, I mean, say it. You don't have to write something. Just say it. Say it how you remember it. Say it.
I
It's
don't.
like if you were to get pulled over by a police officer, you're going to remember what time it happened. You're going to remember what the police officer pulled you over for, and you don't have to look into the notes for something like that. That's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. Like, as long as they have the core details, like the basics of what happened down, but if they might accidentally fill in gaps of memory with like false pretenses of what they think was the encounter, but probably wasn't. That's why like taking notes or trying to write it down at a later date, or try to keep track of it in a written form that might add details that aren't necessarily true that could possibly impact the entire encounter as a whole.
That's all I'm saying, man. I would think if they would say the story just from what they remember, just say it without looking at any of the notes, then you know that they're genuine, that they're saying a story that's real, compared to looking through notes that they wrote or whatever. Maybe they're trying to remember every little detail. I don't know.
That's perfectly fine what you're saying. Like I understand where you're coming from with that. What about you, Sage?
It's in the military. In the military, you ask a soldier something and you look at them in the eyes. You ask them something, and you're gonna know if they're telling you the truth or not, because you know the soldiers. So when they lie to you, you're like, look, I'm gonna give you one more chance. and you ask him the same question, and then boom. I said, look, you don't have to lie to me. I mean, just be straight up to me. Be straight up, and I'll help you. But if you lie to me, then you have give me no choice to become Sarncias. And for lying to me, that's I have to write you up or whatever. So you can tell, man, when somebody's being truthful and when somebody's lying. That's something that's you can feel, right? Just like give you an example, all these people that were infiltrating Paranormal Roundtable. They're fictitious. They were fake people. They were infiltrating, trying to bring down Paranormal Roundtable. I could tell who they were, because I was in the military 10 years, so I could tell who was who. Just like I could tell that the Waltonator was full of crap. He was trying to say he was in the military, and I said, no, he wasn't in no military. Because you know how I knew he was in no military? He talked no terms of the military. No military terms at all. That's why I knew he was a fraudulent person. And many other people, But besides them, that's the only thing I'm saying.
Yeah, I was there during the whole vault thing, and I never saw him use any type of military lingo.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
For everything he claimed he was engaged in, like a hunting team got specially selected out of basic training. Really, like your Captain America, dude.
Then he had a little pistol that you put individual bullets. Like, okay.
Oh, he had old school revolver, huh? He's going to go out and hunt some dogman with this 38 long. His little cowboy revolver, huh?
Then I didn't buy the stuff that he was saying, and I called him out on it, and he's like, I like you. Yeah, because I figured him out. I knew what he was about. I know that I was trying to be no asshole, but I just don't like people lying, man. Yeah, I seen that he was a fraudulent, just like I seen all these other people surface up over there at the conference. I seen that there was something going on. I just didn't know exactly what was going on, but I knew that there was some things happening that were going to happen, and everything revealed itself. You got to pay attention to your surroundings. It doesn't matter if you're within society, within a location where you live, your town, your city. You also got to be aware of your surroundings when you go and investigate. No difference. You always got to be alert, man, because you don't know what you're going to run into, what's going to happen out there. But yeah, man, I'm just giving an example. How, I think some people were bragging that they liked to Brother Josh Turner and stuff. That they, I guess, the stories that they were saying were lies. Bragging about it. Like they were affiliated with other people. It's like, man, that's.
I mean,
That's
my elderly uncle, who's in his 70s, who just turned 70 recently, he uses a term that some people will want to put the fuck on you, and that term is basically someone will always want to try to get a one up, whether they're lying to you, stealing from you, trying to take what you have, or being jealous of what you have, who you are, and what you know. And my uncle's a very well-rounded man. Like he's been between Washington, California, and New Mexico, in and out of the country a couple times. He's a very, very well-rounded man, and the wisdom that he shared is that
there you go. This is not Voltonator.
Oh man,
my wife gave me this for my birthday.
Yeah, Vol was a different guy. I genuinely can't say that guy had done anything significant in his life.
He bragged about beating up a little kid.
Yeah, like he had nothing significant to brag for in his entire life. Like, not even the most simple thing to brag about.
So, Sage, let me ask you a question real quick. Some of the questions in the comments or comments somebody was talking about. What do you think?
What's up?
Oh, sorry, do I need you to start over?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a quick question. Your thoughts are on these Dogman, Bigfoot being potential experiments where they had their DNA manipulated through alien technology or something.
So, my scientific view on it, or my theological view, which my theological view does cross into my scientific view.
Either or is fine.
I do believe in a human theory, but hear me out. We're created in the image of the Almighty. So if we're created in His image, He has 10 fingers, 10 toes, such and such, such and such. But I do believe that a almighty being could have created Dogman, Bigfoot, and all this other stuff. I believe that it's put there into the planet. Like, my belief on it being I believe they can transcend reality in different planes of existence. I truly believe in multiple planes of existence because I believe that after us, after we live, we get reborn onto different planets, different galaxies, different planes of the universe. And that's just my weird, wacky belief. Like, I do believe in an afterlife, but I believe that eventually we get our own planets after the Day of Judgment. And this cycle of creation just continues and continues to go. But I believe that these dogmen, Bigfoot and such, can split the space-time reality, is what some people have called it. I call it a veil, or a spiritual veil, a spiritual like wall, kind of like a barrier, an invisible barrier that they break into our universe, but they've also been created.
Right, so
Like, it gets more heavy that you believe in it, but I don't think that some agency here on Earth has created Dogman or Bigfoot. I just don't. Dolly the freaking sheep. You're probably too young to remember Dolly the sheep, but Abe probably remembers Dolly the sheep. That shit didn't even make it to like 2 years old, and it died. I don't think our technology is there yet, like, as humans. I think that things that are 10 to 20,000 years old, or
I think it
50,000 years
was
old, may have it, like civilizations.
it was Hitler trying to create the super soldier
yeah,
back then.
they did
Oh,
try
yeah.
to do that, but the experiment obviously was a failure.
Well, Andreas, have you ever heard of the bell?
No, I haven't.
The I cannot see bell. So the World War II Germans were creating a time travel bell, and allegedly they used that at least once. Now, they were also in Antarctica when the World War II was ending. We had Operation Paperclip and Operation High Jump. And one of them, we went to Antarctica and picked up a bunch of, let's say, assets, military assets of the Germans. And the other one was bringing the ones from Germany over to work for places like NASA, our military industrial complex, and our government offices. Like, JFK was best friends with one of the retired V rocket system. I can't remember what number it was, but he created the Saturn VIII missile that sent something into space. I can't remember what it was.
Here's something for you there, Osage Cooley.
Okay, I was wondering what the image you put up, Abe. I'm not sure what.
Oh, it's the same one as earlier, just a
Oh,
different color, so it could stand. I was trying to make it stand out. The one that was looking that I said that that's the one that I seen on the path.
Well, okay, well, Sage, in terms of the whole DeVale thing, do you okay? You've had to have heard, in my opinion, of the Vietnam incident, but they had right the night vision.
No, I have not heard the Vietnam night vision incident.
It's like a crazy thing where all these soldiers in Vietnam had like these red tinted. They had like a chemical. I forgot what the name of it is, but when they looked around, they started seeing demons, monsters, and all the soldiers were shooting at random things in the air that everybody else couldn't see. And the governments was it was like mass panic or mass hysteria. They
Huh.
started speculating that people were actually looking more into the spiritual side of the world. But seeing as how they were red tinted, and demons are known for being intertwined with the color red, it's almost like that you constantly hear these demons are the one that gets these giving out the red color. So the red tinted glass actually showed the demons, not anything else, just them possibly. So, like, what do you think about that? Were they piercing into the veil itself, or was that just a mass hysteria?
Um, the government itself and different governments have been known to use hallucinogens and ethobotans to
Mm-hmm.
mess with people's heads. I had a buddy that was on a lot of amphetamines when he was over in the military that the government was giving him. But how can I say this? I don't want to be too like messed up with it, but it was. I believe there's a lot of like mind control stuff and studies when it goes to that type of stuff, and I believe that before a lot of the like new age spirituality stuff and people have relearned how to play with that stuff. To put it shortly, I believe those soldiers were drugged the way you told me that, and that they gave them like some glasses and goggles to be able to see it. But
Morphine, they were doing drugs out there.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, especially in Vietnam, people were smoking Thai sticks. They were taking LSD back then. They were smoking
Yep.
that over, smoking opium. They were smoking weed. I mean, weed's not terribly bad, but there's a lot of pill popping. A shit ton of pill popping. Our grandmas were loaded back in the day on pills. Like my grandma died in 2013, 2014. And 40s, 50s, 60s, man, like they were on a lot of pills. So, like, I think those soldiers were drugged. I think the government did it on purpose. One of the governments, whether it was the U.S. or the Vietnamese government, yeah.
And they give them shots before they go to a deployment. So
Oh yeah.
they're injecting them with. I know when I went out there, they injected us with a shot. They said it was going to protect us from chemical warfare.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
And
speak
then,
to my dad, but he was over there in Kuwait.
They gave us some pills to take every day. They said it would also protect us from the chemical warfare. So, but then we lost a lot of people, man. After the war, there's been thousands and thousands of soldiers that veterans have died.
Yeah. And
they just did it with the things that gave us. Me only drank one pill. The reason I drank one pill, they made me take it. The first sergeant with a flashlight. I took it like if nothing, but then like immediately my stomach went crazy. I had to go to the restroom, and I had a fever and I had like dots all over my body. It's like, screw that.
Yeah.
So when you see me took it and then they were questioning me, I was taking, so yeah, look, every pill that I would take out, I would bury it in the sand. I wouldn't take it, only took one pill. So we're out there and then we get hit by chemical. I was asleep in the tent and you hear like the banging, like when you hear banging of metal or in a combat environment, banging of metal or honking of horns, that means it's a chemical attack. And I was hearing the honking of horns and the banging of metal. So I put on my mask and I went to the tank. The NBC alarm was going off, like whoop, 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 whoop. I tried to get on the tank and it was slimy. So I did a M256 kit. It's got sulfur in it, a sulfur ampulate. Did you dab it on the goo or whatever, and you put it on there and you pop the ampule on it. And it's got 3 colors, I believe it was yellow, blue, and red. And it was hot for a blood agent. It was red. I did 2 of them, and they both came out hot for a blood test. And then they came and they're like, "Hey, take off your mask." And I didn't want to get in trouble that I haven't been taking the pills. I was like, "No, I'm good. I'll take it off with it. Take it off right now. You don't need it because of the pills that you've been taking. They're gonna help you, right? Whatever." So they forced me to take it off. They didn't want to take it off. They grabbed me from the hands and they pull it off my face, a protective mask. And that was the only thing that was really protecting me. So I got exposed to the blood agent. So when I went to the tent, I was mad and I decontaminated my face with an alcohol pad that they had given me. You have it in your NBC protective mask. But ever since then, man, I had problems with like my ears for a long time, where sometimes my skin, gets real flaky around the ears and where I got exposed by the chemical, That and of course the blood clot that I have on my left leg. But yeah, I didn't take the freaking pill, man, and I'm glad I didn't because a lot of people have had real bad side effects from all that. I was exposed to a lot of things, man, that I don't even think about. I just put it this way: I would sleep with a protective mask at nighttime just to get fresh air because I was in the area where all the burning oil wells were. So if you didn't have your protective mask, because the protective mask had the little canister of what do you call it? Charcoal or whatever that's in it.
Yeah, it has a charcoal filter that's on the end of it.
The charcoal filter, right?
Yeah.
So I will go to sleep with it on at nighttime because I couldn't breathe right, man, because nothing but chemicals of the burning oil.
Did you guys have basically the Gore-Tex mask with the lenses on for the eyeballs, circular lenses that the can hang down? Yeah.
And we wake up, we had a tarp set up. Man, the whole tank will be black from all the oil falling. So yeah, man, and for those that didn't wear that, they got exposed to the oil, to the falling oil that was falling.
Yeah.
There was smoke because they burned, they blew up all the oil wells. And then you have the sandstorms that carry the chemicals, and where's that? That's what they did. And people say, "Oh, anthrax was used out there." Yeah, it was out there too. When you see a freaking bird eat a seed, pick up a seed from the ground, and you're looking at the bird and it goes like that and eats a seed, and the next thing you know, it just goes boom. Oh. And I said, "This is our alfalfa. It's contaminated." When we got there in the alfalfa, one of the alfalfas, there was dead camels, dead sheep, and all kinds of dead dogs, and like that's a sign, man. If you see something dead like that, that's a sign letting you know there's a chemical agent nearby, especially if the animals or they're not killed by nothing. That's because there's something there. I told my first I was across the test of the infantry. I said, "Hey, Top, this area is contaminated. We need to move somewhere else." I said, "Nope, this is where they told us we're going to stay, and this is where we're going to stay. I'm going to show you tankers how we do it, how we infantry do it." Man, he lost half the camp because he didn't listen to me. He lost half the camp. The company commander got sick the second day. He was gone. We never seen him again. We don't know what happened to him. They said he came down with the illness, or they're trying to figure out what's the matter with him. And they were in the area where the dead camel and the dead goats were. Luckily I was in the outskirts of that area. The tankers were guarding the perimeter, so we was in the area where they were at, where the dead goat, and the dead camel and all that was there, and the sheep. But yeah, they lost like half of their company. They got sick. Yeah, man, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, my dad eventually got hit by that blood agent. And he got sent to the hospital, and
Yeah,
he has some of the same issues. He has like really bad psoriasis now, and he gets like flakiness around his ears and his neck. Yeah,
for me, it's been happening pretty bad, man. Around
yeah.
here, that's where I get exposed. So I just wash up. It's irritating sometimes, man. Because I know why I got it. Because those are areas that some of these areas I did not get to decontaminate with the little bit of alcohol pad that I had. So they waited 2 days or 3 days before they took us to a uh, decam, what do you call it? Decamination site, where you have to go and go through procedures where they decontaminate you. In which I stood in the sun butt naked for about 12 hours just to see. They were just looking at us just to see we're going to have side effects from the blood agent. In which what a blood agent does, for those that don't know, it causes blood clots, and the blood clots they spread through your body, and they hit your organs, your main organs, the heart, the brain, and you die. So they were trying to figure out to see if something was going to happen. They had me out there, had my whole tank. We were uh, four-man crew, and they went through the decontamination site. They give us we decontaminated the tank. They give us new equipment, new clothes, and everything. But after we were out there for about 12 hours, butt naked, and they were just seeing that we're going to croak over. In the military, we're just numbers, so we're replaceable. Luckily, we didn't croak over. But yeah, so we had to go through a decon site. That's what I call it, decon site. You got the people that are specialized in nuclear biological warfare. They have their gear on where they're decontaminating us and stuff like that. So I had to go through that, and then they give us the new equipment, new NPC suits and everything, and that's when we went across the desert. It's not a good feeling when you get hit by a chemical. They hit us with a scud. There's many different forms that they can hit you with a chemical. Normally when somebody attacks with with chemicals, they try to attack early in the morning. That's when the dew falls. So they passed a scud over us, the scud missile, and they dropped the chemical on us.
Yeah, that was pretty messed up what they did.
Mm.
I mean that's just what the guy did. Like that was just who he was as a person. Where I lived, as a child, we lived near a chemical weapon depot, and for years they prepped us before they started burning off all that shit, like all the shit that they took from Iraq and Vietnam and the Korean War. They prepped us. They changed all the gymnasiums and all the big like city buildings, their filtration systems, so you can crammed the entire city into this place, hoping that the filtration system wasn't going to fail, while they were burning, like, I want to say these bunkers, these ammo bunkers,
Yeah.
or munitions bunkers is what they were. And they stored a bunch of chemicals there. I want to say these were like 200 feet long by like 75 feet wide. And these are filled to the brim full of shit that they were burning. And they prepped us that if it ever went bad out there at this chemical weapon depot, that we would have such and such time to seal up our vents in one room and sit there with food and a radio, hoping that eventually everything would be okay. And there was enough weapons there that it would be able to wipe out from Hermiston, Oregon to British Columbia. Just wipe out people.
Yeah, chemical warfare, man.
Yeah, it ain't easy shit. It ain't light shit to think about, and has long lasting effects even on a nation.
I've seen when we went into combat and they were dropping it on us, man. But we was going full throttle, and the chemicals landed behind us on the people that were, the way the wind was blowing. The chemical was going back to us. It wasn't going forward. So there was people that were behind us. There was the second wave and third wave that got hit by the chemicals. We put on our mask and everything. We got hit by artillery. Artillery landed like maybe, like, I would say 40 or 30 feet away from us. If it would have been any closer, we'd be dead. I wouldn't be here. You have big old holes in the ground where it landed. They were trying to drop a grid on us to destroy the tanks. I think I might have a picture somewhere of how the holes. I used to have a picture of me inside one of those holes, man, holding a piece of metal like this inside the hole after the war, you know. Yeah, they had a game plan, but we went through a big old minefield. The minefield had the mines, and he also had chemicals too. Yeah, I was only 19 years old when I went through all that. But another thing I want to bring up is, we're dealing with an enemy. We're dealing with the scuds. We're dealing with the chemicals, the burning oil wells, and then we have to deal with the darkness of the desert. But the darkness, the desert, the gen, whatever you want to call it. It was out there too, man. You could hear noises at nighttime. The wind, because there's nothing blocking the wind. So you could hear voices of women, of children, because it can mimic. And you're like, man, where's that sound coming from? And you get your night vision and you don't see nothing, But then when you take out the night vision, I seen some apparitions or ghosts or whatever you want to call them, dark shadow figures. I was guarding the main gate one night, and as I was guarding the main gate, I was waiting for my soldier to come back from the restroom, but he fell asleep on the toilet, I guess. And at nighttime, it gets real cold out there, so it's freaking freezing, And I'm waiting, and when I sit down on the sandbag, that guards the main gate, because it's got the barbed wire, and I have to say a password to let people in, or they got to give me a password to come in. So so I'm sitting there and I see somebody sitting beside me and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at it like literally right beside me. And it's like a dark shadow figure looking at me, and I'm looking right at it. And as I'm fixing to pray, it just disappears. And then I look with my night vision. I don't see nothing. I don't see the soldier coming. And the next thing you know, I hear like somebody running. Sounds like gear. And I see like three spirits or run right. Three spirits of three soldiers run right in between goes right through the Constantine wire, pass right in front of me. And luckily, my shift finished. I finished my guard. Well, I really didn't get to finish the guard. I had to stay up because the soldier never came, so I got in trouble because I didn't tell nobody about it. And if I told somebody about it, then I'm not. I stayed in the front gate guarding the gate. If I would have left to tell somebody about it, then I would have got in trouble for not guarding the gate. So either way, you're screwed in some kind of way. But since I did pull the guard, they're like, okay, you got to do PT with us. So we did PT in the morning, even though I was up like for like 4 hours, pulling because then the soldier never came from the restroom. As I was, we were running, they had us running in the desert. That's not a good idea. Running in the desert in an area where there's been bombs going off and there's landmines out there. So we're running. As soon as we get out of the gates, we're running. And we're running in formation. And then next thing you know, one of the guys breaks his leg. His leg goes into a hole and he breaks his leg. So I'm there trying to help him out and stuff. And we pull his body out of the hole, his leg. We're, trying to apply pressure and put a tourniquet and stuff. Inside the hole where his leg broke, there was 3 skeletons in there. And I believe those were the skeletons of the 3 soldiers that I see running through the gate. Just sharing a story with you. Yeah, there's a lot of activity out there. You heard the stories where people say that they would shoot at something and then it would stand up and keep on coming at them. They shoot at it and it would fall down and keep on coming at them. Yeah, I mean, was it a person that they were killing? Or was it something that could have been, had a negative attachment in them? They were saying that it was some kind of zombies, right? But the djinn can do that. They can manifest, they can take over a body. And the body is not going off its own will. It's going because it's being temporarily used by the djinn. So I'm thinking that's what he ran into. Personally, of what I witnessed, what they can do. But yeah, there's just a lot of crazy stuff out there in the desert. And the djinn is one of them, or the jinn. And only God knows what else is out there. So yeah, what do we got here? See the comments here. Let me take this photo off here real quick. And Brother Joel's been out there too. Yeah. Hot during the day, 120, 30, but cold as hell at nighttime, below zero.
Yeah,
And you have
Baghdad can get to like 120 something degrees in the summer. Easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was this guy that after the war, he decided to get a suntan out there. Man, he fell asleep and his dude almost got an Article 15 because he was full of blisters all over his body where the sun burned the crap out of him. In the military, you can't perform your duties. That's for doing something stupid like that. That's an Article 15. He got lucky. He didn't get an Article 15. He was a NCO. You should have known better than that. He had blisters all over his body. The sun burned the crap out of him. And he was dehydrated.
Yeah, I had that happen to me when I was a kid. I had blisters across my back. I got sunburned so bad. I didn't fall asleep. I was out swimming. Swimming in the mighty Columbia River.
I don't go swimming in lakes anymore.
Alligators?
There's alligators, but there's one thing that's worse than alligators. Of course, snakes, alligators, but there's one thing that's worse than that, and they're actually called. If you look it up, they're actually called shapeshifters. They're called the amoeba.
Hmm.
The amoeba. They normally are in water that is not moving, and they can go in through your nose.
Yeah, warm water and stagnant water.
They can go into your brain and take you out. I've heard stories
Hmm.
of people dying that way.
Yep. Those do exist down south.
Yeah, where I come from.
Yep. Where
He
we
killed
live.
he killed a girl. Was this lake called Delta Lake? We were swimming, and this girl was swimming, and next thing you know, she just started floating in the water. We don't know what happened to her. We went and they pull her out of the water. They're trying to give her mouth to mouth, and she's irresponsive. They don't know what's the matter with her. I guess like they took her to the hospital or something, and that's when they found out that the amoeba killed her. So when they found out about the amoeba, they banned the lake from anybody swimming in there. So people were even afraid to go fishing there. But the amoeba
Well,
killed her.
I mean, I would be. I've heard about that stuff. There's you can get the brain eating amoeba. You can get a bacterial infection that eats your flesh, like of your face and your fingers and everything like that. And it's hard to take care of. Yeah, I mean the most we get up here, we have about 4 or 5 different lake monsters allegedly, and rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes love to go swimming. You got that to deal with around here, but most of our waterways are pretty fast moving cold water.
Speaking of lake monsters, what do you guys think of all these sightings? Do you think all the lakes are connected through portals in Earth, or are they just manifestations? Because some of these lakes have uh, crystals in them, like quartz, that give energy to manifest.
Look, this is a story of. I was gonna post it real quick, and we'll get to that. The girl, man. What happened? This what I'm talking about. It happened in the 1970s, 1970 something. I was a kid. Let me see if I can send the information over. Let me get out of here and go back in there. See if it posts it. The story of what I'm talking about. Here we go. If it lets me. Huh. Yeah, I feel sorry for the. I feel sorry. You know, but it's not letting me. So it says Delta Lake. A Central Texas girl recently died after contracting a brain-eating amoeba. Something similar happened back in the 70s. A Rio Grande Valley child died after swimming Delta Lake and also contracted an amoeba. Since the child's death, people are not allowed to swim at Delta Lake. Swimming has been banned since the 1970s, according to the Texas Historical Commission. They say that this area owned by Delta Lake Irrigation District closed to swimming after high concentration of microorganisms were found in the water. Yeah, those are deadly right there, man. The amoeba. So let's go to what you were talking about, Andres, or was it Sage Cooley?
It was Andreas.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what were we talking about?
The monsters in the water.
Oh yeah,
Monsters in the water.
What's the nature of them? I think they're interdimensional, or
Are we talking about
hangover
sirens, and
remnants.
that's what we're talking about. Sirens.
Now we're talking about like lake monsters in general, like the plesiosaurs, the dinosaur, and like in Lake Noctis, some of the serpents that are appearing all over the world. Like the Vikings have these drawings on their maps from old times where they would draw these things, assuming that they've seen them themselves, and they avoid those areas. And there's like a few. There apparently America has our own like this monster from Lake Champ or
Hmm.
is what they gave the name here. So many is that just like are these things are they coming through these different portals, like these tunnels that are like connecting this the surface level to the Middle Earth, or are they just manifestations? Because some of these lakes do have like crystal properties that give these entities energy, like the quartz and like Ness.
Yeah, it reminds me of the one of the Godzilla movies. I think it was called Godzilla versus Megalon, where I guess it was the people that had a UFO or whatever. They're called the monster to come from somewhere else, and you could see like a crystal or beaming, and then it showed up. Yeah, it's just I'm just it's possible, man. We don't know what's out there. I mean, we got the Bermuda Triangle, and boats disappear, people disappear, but then I hear that they reappear like 20, 30 years later, right? That they look the same way that they were looked 20, 30 years ago. Is that true? Or is it just say so? You hear of those ships that appear, those pirate ships that appear out of nowhere, and you're seeing them, and they see them though they disappear.
Yeah, Stephen talks about like the Bermuda Triangle and some of these ships appearing, and that's actually one of the phenomena. But it's not just ship; it's also planes
Yeah,
where they
planes.
it's like they just randomly appear as if nothing happened to them, but the only thing they're missing is like the passengers, the captain, the people on it are gone. Everything else is the same.
No, the sirens, and the what are they called? Ooh, is it harpies? Which is the
Yeah,
one? I'm not harpies. I'm thinking of saying the wrong ones.
harpies
The,
are like the brujas, but different, but like they're uh
the, the ones that made it with the Watchers, they became sirens, and there's another name for it. I think I can't remember the name. Was it harpies?
I mean, yeah, there's a harpy. It's kind of like a bird lady
Yeah. Well, that's
in
what
the
they
Greek
they
culture.
that was their punishment. They turned into sirens and harpies. The women that slept with the Watchers, they became uh, harpies and sirens when they gave birth to the Nephilim. They just changed form for sleeping with the Watchers. That was their punishment. But there was one before that. They changed form, which is supposed to be the monster of all monsters, which is, as we know, what's her Lilith. That the people would sell because the angels were killing her children, so she would come and kill the children of the people, and that they would wear medallions of Lilith around their necks, so she wouldn't harm their children, like in a form of worship, of worshiping her. I think they got another one somewhere in another country called the Owl Man or something like that. I just can't remember where, if it's in London or one of those countries. They call it the Owl Man. That is real big, and it comes after people.
I think there's one like that. I'm not sure where though.
But the only owl that I know of is Lilith, that supposedly would do that back in the days. Is it folklore, or is it real? What would you know anything about that, Andreas or Sage Cooley, about Lilith?
Well, from from what I have studied on Lilith, it comes from the Hebrew mythos that Lilith was Adam's first wife, and she didn't want to submit to Adam. So she was cursed to go into the land. Now, depending on what you read and how much you read into it, Lilith either mated with Cain eventually, or the Nephilim, or both. Now, I've heard that Lilith, being the mother of all demons, gave birth to a bunch of Nephilim. But from like Greek writings like Perseus and all that other stuff, that's where a lot of the sirens and the harpies come in, and that's when they start to get mentioned in classical literature. I can see the context that's split between the two of them and how they would come from somewhere, and if you would put all the Greek gods in the Greek pantheon as, and the Titans as the Watchers and the Nephilim, I could see how that would all work. Absolutely. But I could also see how the sirens and the harpies are offspring of humans that have mated with the Nephilim or the Watchers. Absolutely.
I think I have some photos here of the, I guess the Watchers, or because they're called different names in different cultures, right? But I think I have some photos here of them. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, there is definitely an owl man from England that you were talking about, Cornwall, England.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely.
So supposedly something happened to somebody, took some children or something like that.
Yeah, I just looked at it right now. Like, do you want to hear about it right now or what?
Go ahead.
It was on April 17th, 1976. Two girls reported seeing a terrifying large creature hovering over, I don't know how to pronounce it. It was a church tower. They described a creature the size of a man, featuring metallic, pincher-sized claws, glowing red eyes, and pointed ears. Frequently seen in light or near ancient spooky woods. The area where it is, there is like the area where the site is known for like old myths, and it is part of the folklore there. So I'm not like the only sightings is like the sightings just have two young girls.
You said 1976.
Yeah.
That's the same year that I got attacked in the face in 1976 by my friend is making a movie called The Pájaro, the Big Bird or whatever. That's when I got attacked. I remember the story I told you about the fish and the thing with the wings. That it followed us to my home. That it scratched me in the face. That I got the scars. It was in 1976. That's weird.
What
It
month?
happened in 76 also.
What month? Like it was in the same year, but what month were you attacking?
When I got scratched in the face, it was right after a Christmas break. You know how you get 2 weeks off? So it had to happen sometime in January before I went back to school.
Yeah, it was in January. Probably January. The sighting started here in April of the owl man, supposedly.
Yeah, my incident happened before, right after the 2 week exodus that you get leave. So it happened in January, sometime in January when we went back to school, right on the day before going back to school, which happened on a Sunday when I got attacked.
Well, that's a weird coincidence.
Yeah. Let me show you this other photos here of the, see you recognize them.
I'll be away from the microphone for a minute. I need to let my dog out.
All right, that's fine.
You see how they have like like a little purse or a little pouch.
Yeah.
That's what this is dealing with the Watchers, how they supposedly look, right? That one's got the face of a like a bird or an eagle, and body of a human. And you got this one that is looks like human, but then it's fish. It's like a fish. You know, when you think of this ones, you think of uh, Poseidon or anything dealing with the fish, sirens or mermaids.
Yeah, most of these deities always have like a secret animal of some kind that they would always like. They would either shapeshift into themselves, or just say like, "This is my secret animal. Don't hurt it," or anything like that.
Look at this one. This one looks like a human, but he has wings. There's another one, and it's got the little purse in his hand too, and he's even looks like he's got, like even got like a watch on his arm,
Yeah,
like those Timex or whatever, or maybe a compass of some sort. Then you have this one is this one's gonna probably. I'll show you that one last. Here we go. There are from where everything is happening, Iraq. Every single one of them, and this one's they're called the Apakulu. No, I know Brother Just talks about the Anunnaki, which it's the same thing. It's just called something different. Uh, this is called the Apakulu. They're from were from Iraq. So, do you think that our government was trying to go and try to find the Apakulu or try to get DNA of the Apakulu?
I would not be surprised. They're always going to these starting wars to take something from those lands that they can't get officially or try to smuggle out. So they start some, at least like I'm talking like backdoor deals or something with other enemies right now. And
You
I read,
see, it's got the dates there. It's from the 14th century and it's from 883 and 859 BC. Let's see what else is on here. Well, there he is. I did them individually. So what else we got here? Same one, same one, same one. But check out this one. This is going to freak you out right here. Is Sage Cooley here?
Yeah, are we looking at the Sumerian tablets where the guy has the little purse?
Check
He's a
out this
beaked
one.
face guy.
This one's going to freak you all out. You ready for it?
it, what the hell?
Looks
That's-
like a reptilian to me.
Yeah, it does. At least in my opinion. What about you, Sage?
Yeah, kind of looks like a reptilian.
Either a reptilian or some kind of freaking what do you call it? Praying mantis?
I can say where you can get the whole praying mantis because the arms look so skinny.
Yeah. People say they've been spotting giant praying mantis or something like it. I don't know. This one looks freaked out. I don't know. I can't tell you what it is. What do you think? Look at the shoulders, how they look.
It's too narrow.
Does it look like an insect?
I can definitely see why it's insect-like, but the face is more reptilian-like.
Yeah. No, this is I don't know what it is. It didn't have a description. I just looked at it. I said, man, that looks interesting. So I just wanted to share it with y'all.
Well, a lot of those cultures were worshipping like these gods and deities that looked a lot like aliens and insects and stuff like that. Like these guys lived and reigned over these kingdoms for like hundreds of years.
But did these people actually see them, or did you see them in vision? Because I'm not sure if any of these things actually came down. Supposedly, some of them did, especially with the Mayans or Aztecs, because you had these temples where it's like pretty much like stepping stones to like a flat surface, so you almost think they came down to actually observe the people themselves, and people were on the side before.
Well, yeah, but have you like researched into like Akhenaten? Have you researched into like the original kings of Sumer? There's a lot of weird stuff that was written in a lot of those old historical texts that talk about like aliens and insect people and reptilians. And these guys lived for hundreds of years and hundreds of years, like 3,000 years. One guy lived like 23,000 years. And that could all be just myth, but
Well, I ran into something, man. I don't know what it was. It was at nighttime when I lived in in Killeen, but not in Elms Grove. My other house, which was down at 5106 Acorn Creek, my first house that I bought when I was a sergeant. I went outside because I heard somebody whistling, and I'm like, I recognize that whistle, and it was mimicking the whistle how my father whistled. But the problem is, my father lived 6 hours away, and I said his name, and I kept on hearing the whistle. So I said, okay, it's just my imagination. So I started walking to see if I could hear anything anymore. And then I heard some movement in the woods because there was nothing but woods behind. You know, it was a barbed wire fence. And I said, is that you? And then I just hear like some kind of, what do you call it? Like a growl or roar. And I hear some giant wings flapping, and I seen just something big go up in the air. I mean, like giant wings, but it growled like a lion or something like that. The only thing that came to mind when I heard that and I felt it, all my hair stood up. Was that what was that creature called? That's got the wings and a lion, like
a chimera or a griffin.
I was about to.
A griffin.
Yeah, but griffins are normally portrayed like having the head of an eagle, unless and I'm usually thinking of chimera was like they have the wings too and a lion head, but they also have a scorpion tail.
Or manticore.
Yeah, that too sometimes.
Yeah, and I freaked out with that, and all my hair stood up, man. Like it's my spirit told me it was evil, whatever it was. And I seen it take off, but I couldn't see what it was. I had no flashlight. I just seen the big mass go up in the air, and I heard the wings flapping, like whatever it was mimicking. But I left that area. It's like, oh hell no. Then one since we talk about dragons, I had an encounter. I mean, I could say maybe might have been my imagination, but I was walking because I would walk at nighttime. It was around 2 in the morning, and I was walking around the quad. Then I heard this loud growl that I've never heard before. And it sounded like, I've seen the dragons from TV and stuff like that. The sound did not sound like any kind of cat or any kind of dog or anything like that. It was a completely different sound, and it sounded very loud. And I was like, "Oh hell no!" I turned back and I went back to the house. Till this day, I don't know what it was that made that sound. But if it was a sound, it would be, I would say, a dragon or making that screech sound, like that sound that the dragon makes. I mean, I don't know if the sound that they make is something that they just made for Hollywood or whatever, but whatever it was, it made this horrific sound, man. That's the area where I went back the following day to investigate, and this area where I found all the dead dogs and cats. They were like in a circle perimeter, kind of like you could say like When I looked, I just seen the radius. There was nothing but dead animals there. A lot of them. There was a fresh kill of a dead Saint Bernard that had his spine ripped out of his back. You know, my son was with me. As his son, just turn around. If you hear anything or see anything, don't be afraid. Just start walking back. Let's go walk back out of here. And I left that area. I never went back to that area. But whatever it was had a den out there of dead animals. It had killed a lot of animals. There was nothing but you can only see some of them had the collars, dude. Like the dogs that had died, you can only see their carcass, and you can still see the collars around their neck. The collars and some of them had leeches. The leech.
Yeah. So there was definitely something being a predator around that area. It was picking up St. Bernards, 150-pound dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be something big.
I have a 100-pound lab myself.
This Saint Bernard, man. It's
Yeah.
like he was still there in position, like he got picked up by something, and his spine was ripped out of his back, and it was kind of like still standing but dead, and
It's
the spine
insane.
was like ripped out of his back. I mean, it was curved out, like you could see it where it got ripped out of his back.
Abe, did you ever try watching some of these movies that involve TV shows that involve dragons, trying to see if you compare whatever the closest that you thought it was that there was that they do, or just no, you didn't think of doing that?
Of what again?
The roar that you heard, you might have heard, or was it just the wing beat that you heard?
Oh, when I heard the growl or the roar, it was not the roar of no animal, man. It's something different. I never heard before. All I know, it was huge because it echoed throughout the woods, and it's like there's a hill and there's a depression. It echoed very loud. Like I guess he see me walking. And it's like, oh hell no! I turned back and I went. I recognize the sounds of different animals like lions, cougars, because I would hear them before in the military. This sound was something I've never heard before. So it's like, what the F is that? And I said, the first thing, and I know it was just instinct or whatever. The first thing when I heard that sound, first thing that came into my mind, normally your spirit will let you know. The first thing that popped into my dragon, first thing. But who is the dragon in the Bible?
The accuser. Oh, Satan.
So that's when I said, oh hell no. I did the sign of the cross on the left. But he made the loud sound one time, very loud. And in that area, when I did the investigation, I found out there was a cross. And one in the field, there was a cross, like somebody buried something out there. Yeah, but yeah, it sounded very loud, man. Brother Joel said that it sounds like I was in a den of a dog man. There was something out there. There's like there's just like a big hill, and there was an opening with a cement pillar, but I never went in there, man. I never went in there to find out what was in there. It was a big mound, and it was like an opening that you could literally fit a vehicle in there. It was huge. I never went in there to find out what was in there.
Yeah, it's probably a smart move on your part. A-Stage, quick question for you in terms of all these fallen acting or these entities. Why do you think they always had to change their certain names or personas when they were introducing themselves to all these cultures around the world? What do you think about that?
I have two theories on it. I have the theory that the 12 and 12, the 24, are a very influential group of entities or it's a collective memory of 12 and 12, 12 male, 12 female deities. I think it's a cultural thing why they have different names, because they all have the same acts and attributes attached to them. But I think the names are purely a cultural thing.
So it's like a cosmetic or superficial thing because they had to adjust to where they were at to where they were at the time because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of it is wrapped up with like primordial fears and primordial events that have happened in the species. Like thunder killed things, thunder caused wildfires, thunder was scary. So of course the scariest thing that people in the Mediterranean would say is Zeus and his thunderbolt. It could be that. It could be an alien that had, or a demon that controlled thunder. There's there's a lot of ways you can hypothesize about it, but you have to look at what identifying characteristics exist of it. Meanwhile, a sub-god, Thor, was a god of thunder in the Norwegian. Then if you go to like Africa, there's like 5 or 6 different thunder gods, depending on what culture you're part of. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Whereas some of the European dragons controlled, like earthquakes and shit like that. I think personally, it's a lot of them were basically demigods that fell out from whatever breeding program happened. I think it could be that. I mean, it's an interesting thing to hypothesize on,
Yeah, I understand that. I was just thinking about like all these like stories of this. I particularly find it really interesting with the Greek and Romans between like you can tell they're more or less the same thing. They even some of the gods even carry the same name over to the Roman culture, specifically Apollo and Artemis. But like depending on who you ask, Apollo might go by Helios or Apollo or Helios are two different beings, or sometimes the same, depending on the culture or legend you read. But everywhere else, they always have to change themselves to fit where they're at. And I'm wondering if it's because by choice or because they have to, when they could just stay in the same form together, or they want to look more alike to appease the people that are there. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that could definitely be a thing.
Cool.
I mean, the whole Mediterranean culture roughly share the same deities, like the same concepts of what they were, whether or not they existed or whether or not it's just a one giant, 24-pack deity that rules over the world.
Well, I know of what I seen in my dream when I dealt with a succubus. Uh, they can take you somewhere else, and I think the location they took me to was what used to be Babylon, spiritually. Which because Babylon is the one that had the woman's statue, right? Said that the sailors would see it, but now that location is New York because they have the woman's statue. But I think was it Babylon, the one that had the woman's statue?
Are you talking about the Colossus at Rhodes?
The
Like
woman that would go with
north of Egypt?
that the sailors would go there, and a lot of them would die there because she would kill them. And I guess that she fell off her tower or whatever, and when she landed in the street, the dogs came and ate her. You know what I'm talking about?
Calypso?
It was she was a. They were I think it was Babylon. The Babylon fell after that.
Was it in the Greek stories? Was it in the Odyssey?
I think it was in the Bible. In the Bible,
The Bible?
I just can't remember her name.
Jezebel?
It might be Jezebel.
Like
I don't know. She
like
the she would lure the sailors to that area, and you know she was evil. But she died. She fell, and the dogs came and ate her. I don't know how tall the tower was that she. I know
Oh,
it was like a light tower or what, but she died.
well,
They had a big statue of the woman.
I have a Bible here, and I have the Odyssey here too, my
I
bookshelf.
just I just remember the location. I think it was. I don't know if it was Babylon or what location it was. I don't know. It was right by the coastline.
yeah, I'm looking up real quick if there's anything about a woman falling off a tower or something like that. But it's not what you're talking about. Abe. It's probably something different.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it's Babylon. It's called something else. The name of the location is called something different. But a lot of people compare that to New York because of the Statue of Liberty. It's a woman, or is some people say it's a woman, but then some people say it's Lucifer.
Did she do anything like kill anyone, or what was it just her that died?
She fell off, and the dogs came and ate her. They said the story that the dogs came and I guess ate her. Dogs came out of everywhere and ate her. That she died. When she died, she fell off. I think they went after her or something. Soldiers or somebody went after her and she fell and she died. What's the name? What was her name? I'm thinking it was Jezebel. Was it
Wait,
Jezebel?
was this in real life or just a story?
It was a story in the Bible. She was. I just can remember her name.
Really?
Yeah, the location was the sailors would go to this place because there was a lot of like
Oh yeah, it's Jezebel, the wicked woman, queen of Israel. She's described in Kings, 2 Kings passages 9:30 through 7. She was
Can you
thrown.
read it?
I'm reading a bit of right now actually. She was thrown from a window, trampled by horses, and substantial. I'm just reading like a shortened version of it, and subsequently consumed by dogs, leaving only her skull, feet, and palms. Uh, the prophet uh, Elijah predicted this fate for Jezebel in Kings, declaring the dogs shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel, is if I'm pronouncing correctly. Uh, the fulfillment. I don't know how to say this correctly, but I'm going to spell the guy's name. Jehu. A military commander ordered Jezebel's attendants to throw her from a window, after which she was trampled and eaten by stray dogs. I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about.
What was the name of the location where she lived?
Uh, it's not really saying where she was. All it says is just she was just the wicked queen of Israel.
There was a name to that the location of the one I was talking about. That's her, but it was right by the ocean because the sailors will go to the location. There was a lot of I guess sin there, but she would kill the sailors. And they had a statue of a woman or something like that. Or maybe it's because I don't know what she would do to the guys. There's a story, something like that in China, I think in China, dealing with a castle that the soldiers would go to this castle, and there would be women in there, but there wasn't really women. There were children of a giant spider. There was a They had the face of women. They were pretending to be women, and they would eat the men. Uh, just to tell whether it's true or not. I don't know. Somebody's how would have done that and got the hell. Well, basically, the reason I'm saying that because when I was fighting the succubus, that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to keep me in location in my dream, showing me their bodies. They had lingerie. You could see their bodies, but I already trained myself spiritually not to fall into the temptation. So I was able to my spirit to leave that area, and they were trying to get me to go back inside there, and I wouldn't listen to them. I climbed this giant fence and landed on the other side, and they all started coming after me, and they're moving real fast on the fence. And as they were coming towards me, jumping down, I went like this, and I woke up. That's when I seen the succubus, and I typed by rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. I'm beginning to think if the succubus, could be in some kind of way related to that Jezebel.
Yeah, I'm not
You know
sure.
what I'm saying?
Kind of. I can see why you might think that, but I don't really see that where Jezebel might hold significance.
I mean, if she died the way she died, that means that she's an unclean spirit. Everybody. The only thing was left was what? Her feet.
That's that's one of the things that was left over.
And how many dogs was it? They didn't say how many dogs came and ate it, right?
It does not say how many, just that a lot came to finish the job. It doesn't give a specific number. Still crazy. That's a crazy way to grow.
Okay, she is best known for promoting Baal worship, murdering prophets of God,
Yeah.
and orchestrating the death of Naboth to seize his vineyard, ultimately facing a violent death at the hands of Jehu. She was the daughter of Ithbal. Is that the evil one? Baal, king of Tyre and priest of Baal, which has influenced her fanatical devotion to pagan deities. She fiercely opposed the prophet Elijah, notably after his victory against her prophets at Mount Carmel, forcing him into hiding. Let's see, the Naboth incident when Ahab could not acquire vineyard, Jezebel forced letters and orchestrated a sham trial to have Naboth falsely accused of blasphemy and stoned, allowing him to seize his land. And talks about her death. She was thrown from a window on Jehu's orders, and as prophesied by Elijah, her body was eaten by dogs, with only her skull, feet, and palms remaining. Her palms?
Hands, basically. Fulfilling Elijah's prophecy.
Jezebel is used symbolically to refer to a false prophetess leading church members into sexual immortality and idolatry. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Sexual immortality. That's what a succubus does, or incubus. Succubus, incubus. They attack the people through in that manner, sexually. Attacking their spirits. She's recognized as archetype of wickedness, manipulator, manipulativeness, and idolatry. That's what they say. Uh, when the preachers, they're like, "Get away from me, you Jezebel spirit." In some Christian circles, the term refers to a manipulative or demonic influence that disrupts authority and encourages sin. Uh, Historical view, while present is purely evil in the Bible, some scholars suggest she was a strong political leader whose foreign religious practice conflicted with a monotheistic Deuteronomism historians. Yeah, here we go. I think we lost
That's cool.
Sage Cooley. I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. People, okay, sometime about Medusa.
Yeah, he was probably talking about Medusa.
There you go. You said it right. I was right. Babylon, the whore of Babylon. That's what they called her. That's where it happened in Babylon. Ellen. Ozzy Picture says in China they use firecrackers to ward off evil and demons. I had a rat to move from China, and at night, my dad had to pick him up at the train station as he was so frightened of the dark. Sounds like shapeshifting lunar goddess and hounds of hell. Yeah, we've been on for 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. Couple of more 20 more minutes we can call it if you want to. Or I was just talking about, I don't know, for some reason, man, she came up to mind.
Yeah, man.
And I know it has nothing to do with Dog Man, but it was dogs that ate her.
Yep.
So I got a question. If she was evil and the dogs ate her, what happened to the dogs?
It doesn't say anything about what happened, so
Well, what I'm trying to say, if she was evil and they consumed her that she was evil, is it possible the dogs might have something might have happened to them?
okay, the possibility of that, I'm not sure. They probably could have like died off because they were strays, and strays aren't really known for being like all gentle. And I'm not sure how things were back at that time. They were probably
You
like,
see, the reason I'm bringing this up is because in current times, there's been women that's been getting attacked by dogs, right?
yeah,
People saying they're dog man. What if these people are really Jezebels, and the things that are happening to them is dealing with what they do with their works, part of the spiritual warfare. Just a theory.
possibly. But what are your thoughts on the attack anyway? Because there's been more than a few attacks in the last couple of years.
Yeah, there's been a lot of attacks. It's been a lot of attacks. But what do hellhounds do? When do they show up?
They usually either show up as an omen of death or they're there to collect the person's soul.
What other things come to collect people's soul
Reapers. Or
besides the hellhounds? People make deals like brujas, right? Or people that make deals with the other side of the balance. When the time is up, the time is up, and the collector come right for them.
mhm.
Yeah, but dogs can smell. So when she landed, and I don't know how high it was, and there was the smell of blood. Well, of course, animals are hungry. Now, back in those days, there was no Purina shower, none of that kind of stuff. So dogs are going to be dogs and eat whatever. So they smelled the smell of blood and came. But I think there's been many people that died that way. Uh,
Oh,
women
there's
that
been
died
stuff.
from that man.
If you actually got to see it kind of firsthand during the war you were in, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I heard stayed up there in the front lines for about 7 days after the war, and that's all I would hear day and night, where they're freaking eating and eating, and their stomachs are fat, like they're gonna blow up. Because one thing about dogs is they don't know when to stop. If you put food out there, they don't know when to stop. They'll eat and eat and eat. And then they fight against each other, and sometimes they even kill each other because they're fighting to for the food.
Well, I think, well, you haven't had any technical issues today. Like, I had one there today, but it didn't kick me out. Everything's been going smooth for this life.
Oh yeah, is going smooth. I took everything off and restarted it, or just all the apps. I took them all off. I think my son did something to it too. He was working on it earlier. I mean, but yeah, it was strange yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What happened yesterday was just crazy.
Yep. Oh, I should have asked Sage's opinion on that film too, while he was here.
Yeah, I was trying to see if makes you wonder, right? When you hear the stories of this woman being attacked and what's really going on here.
Oh yeah, there's several, and it's not just someone being attacked. You got stories of some of these kids getting attacked by these dog things, supposedly dog-like things, and they managed to get away. And when they tell their parents what they see, the parents sometimes go on the freaking internet and tell people what their kids see, and then people just go start arguing. And next thing you know, you get like random attacks on dogs that make it look like they're actual, just normal, ordinary dogs. But it makes me wonder if the government lets loose wild dogs, or just does something around the neighborhood that makes these dogs go mad.
I think whatever it is comes out at a certain time frame. Whatever it is, if it is going into hibernation, like bears, whatever is doing this is coming out around the same time frame, because the things are happening around I don't know if they happen all year long or they happen in a certain time frame. Uh, just like if it's something that's happening in a certain time frame, it's got to be something it's got to be like in hibernation or hiding, and it only comes out to eat, and then it goes back into hibernation. Bears do that, right?
Yeah, they do, but sometimes they wake up they're not supposed to be, and the first thing they do is they want to eat or kill something, and that makes it even more dangerous.
Yeah, and they do have big claws.
Dude, they can easily cover my face, no problem, and crush me if I wanted to.
So, what do you think of all these women that have been getting attacked? What I read that they said that the dog was still there. The dog that attacked the woman that was still there. That they think it was one or two dogs that attacked her. Do you
Well,
think that
I
that's true, or do you think because the sister, I think the sister had said that the dogs were still there or something? I was reading the story and it's like, well, this does not make no sense because the sister's saying that the dogs were still there when the sister got attacked. But then the media later on says that they were still investigating, uh, taking some samples to see what really attacked her or something like that. So were the dogs there or was the dog scared? Was it her dogs that were there when it happened? whatever attacked her, or was it her dogs that attacked her? I don't know. Just didn't make no sense, a report that they put out on that.
It doesn't.
Because the sister says that the dogs were still there, but then they said I guess the other people came to investigate that they're taking samples to see what really. I mean, basically saying to see what really attacked her, because I think they said they never seen no shit like that before.
No, they haven't. The sheriff commented personally that they're actually investigating it because this was the most violent attack he hadn't seen in one.
He said never seen an attack like that ever before in his
had
life.
38 years to be more accurate.
Yeah. He said he never seen nobody get attacked that way. But it happened at her house, right?
Yeah, it looks like it was supposed to be at her house if the report stays
Yeah,
on.
that's what it says. It was her house. Yeah, it's not cool, man. Things like that happen. Remember one time, uh, I see my son running fast, and he passed me up, and there was this big dog chasing him, man. And the dog was going after him like it was gonna bite him, and I grabbed the freaking dog from the collar and yanked him, dude. Then I was pretty stocky, strong. I grabbed the dog. It was a big old Saint Bernard, or not a Saint Bernard, like a Rottweiler. And I just yanked the shit out of him, man, because he was trying to bite my son. My son was like 6 years old, and the dog was way bigger than him. I yanked the crap out of that dog, right? And the dog took off. And I think the dog belonged to one of my friends that lived in the mobile home park. I didn't know it was his dog that was chasing him. I just was worried about my son being bit. But then after that incident, the dog wind up with epilepsy. He was not the same after that. So he had to put it to sleep. I don't know if he went up with epilepsy because I yanked him while he was in full pursuit of my son. Or I think he already had a history of epilepsy, but they put him to sleep. Yeah, man, he was trying to literally attack my son. What would you done if something like that, you were to see something like that? Just out of pure instinct, I had just barely come out of my house, and that happened right in front of me. So I reacted to the situation.
If it was just me by myself, I probably would have stood frozen in shock until it actually came after me. But if it were up to me, I would try to yank that thing, same thing as you did. And if I couldn't do that, I'll try to shove my arm down its throat. Because if you want to get that thing to let go, you need to attack the mouth. It's either that or the eyes.
Yeah, I felt bad afterwards, but he said that he was sick already. So, he had epilepsy. You know what they say about epilepsy? That it's a form of demonic possession. So, he was going after my son bad, man. Like he wanted to bite him. We've had experiences with rabid animals. I think my brother got bit by a Saint Bernard. He got bit on the ass. There was his kids. Every time we go to the corner store, they would always fetch their dog on us. It was a big old Saint Bernard. This day that they fetched it on him, they were like, "Come on, come on!" They were getting the dog to come out from underneath the house, and the dog came, and man, there was nothing but foam coming out of his mouth. And I know Saint Bernards are like that normally, but we've seen it before, but we never seen it that way that day. It was just foam coming out of his mouth. He just charged at us, man. I got so scared that I don't even know how I made it home. All I know is in front of my mom, and she had to slap me just to find out what was going on. And I said, "Dog, dog," and she ran after. "Where's your brother?" And she took off, and my brother's over there. He got him bit on the butt by the dog. Back then, you had to get rabies shots. So my brother got like 16 rabies shots on the stomach.
I thought it was 12.
Huh? I
Thought it
think,
was.
yeah, there was a lot of rabies shots. I know it was might have been 12. I don't know. He got then the sheriff came, or the dog catcher came, and they looked underneath the house, and they killed the dog that had the rabies. And those guys that fetched the dogs on us, they were crying. And following day, man, I was pissed off because my brother couldn't come to school. So I got vengeance on the kid, the kid that there was two of them. One was older than us, and the other one was my age. What is it? The thing that they have on their legs when they have to wear like braces. What is it called? Certain disease, or did they have to wear some kind of braces because they can't walk right?
Leg braces?
Was it
Leg braces? Like
like
around.
metal braces on the sides because they have a what is it? Is it polio, or what is it that makes you not be able to walk right? He had a certain disease, something wrong with him that he couldn't walk right. He had to wear crutches. I just can't remember the name of it on top of my head right now. So the brother would try to make him happy, and he would bully us. The older brother. So after they did that to my brother, I got pissed off, man. So I'm in like let me see, third grade. My brother was in fifth grade, or I was in fourth. I can't remember. I found the kid. He had his crutches and his legs with those braces. I found him in the restroom, man. I fucking dropped his ass and started pounding on him, man, kicking him and all kinds of things. And I was people were like they couldn't calm me down. I said, "Y'all stay out of this." And I beat the crap out of him in that restroom, man. Then because I was mad what he did to what happened to my brother, Got to beat the crap out of him in that restroom. And then years passed by and stuff, and I guess he got healed from the illness that he had. And then I spoke to him and I said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry over what I did to you." We talked about. Then he apologized to me. So we became friends after all that. That's a good thing about forgiveness, right?
Yep, you gotta learn to forgive despite everything that happened.
I know. What is it? Leukemia? What is it? Leukemia? What is Is it polio? The one that will make people have problems when walking? What was the problem that the little kid had in the Scrooge? Little Timmy, or whatever his name was. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I do not. It's been a while for me.
The movie The Scrooge. There was a little kid that had crutches.
I remember what you're talking about, but
I just
I
can't
don't.
remember the term. The term. Let me see if I can find it. I can't remember the name of it, man. So all I remember, he had like kind of like a robot from the halfways down. They had to wear crutches.
Yeah, it never goes into detail. I just looked it up right now. It doesn't go any polio's.
I think,
It's one of them, but it never it says what it is.
yeah, I'm thinking it's it might be polio or something like that that causes that. Something dealing with the bones. Is it polio or I can't remember, man. But I felt bad. But man, I was so pissed off, man. You know what's messed up is that the older brother, he was way older than us. He was already like a freaking junior, or senior in high school. That's just an old story right there, man. And the other encounter I had with something rabid was a cat, a black cat. That my grandmother was telling me to not move, and the cat was hissing at me real ugly, and foam was coming out of his mouth, and his eyes were like white, and it was just hissing at me, and foam was coming out of his mouth, and he would stand up like that. The hairs would stand up on his back, and my grandmother, no, no, don't move, don't move. And then the neighbor came out, and then even the neighbor, because the cat belonged to him, he was telling me, don't move. And it was hissing at me like he wanted to jump at me. And his claws were freaking sticking out. Yeah, it was rabid, man. That's a word for it, right? Rabid. And he finally jumped off the tree, got it to get off the tree. He landed in the yard, and then he killed it. He had to kill the cat because it had rabies. You know, one thing about a rabid cat is if it bites another cat, well, that cat can get the rabies too. Kind of like the movie Old Yeller.
Yeah.
You ever hear about Old Yeller?
Yeah, I know what happened. So the other attacked a coyote. Coyote was rabid, and then the little kid has to put down the dog at the end.
Yeah. So do you think some of this, since when something's rabid, I've seen the rabid dog and the rabid cat. What some of the things that the characteristics is rabies, and then the eyes they look white. Because it's kind of like they have no more. What do you call it? The
Pupils.
rabies taken over the the brain and everything. So the eyes are like white and rabid that they have no control over. And so when you think of that, and I see the people that supposedly, when we talk about Wendigoism or the people that go to the woods and come back and they look like they're possessed because our eyes are rolled back white, or the whiteness, it means that just because I said that word, uh, there. No, I'm not calling about anything like that. We tie by and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. Possession. When people get possessed, same thing. The one that I seen on the path, they had the white eyes. So the one that covered the path that was 12 foot, that I told you didn't look like a dog, man, but it looked like he had a face. And I showed the face earlier. They had spots on his body, but he had white eyes, and it was just using his ears to listen. I think the whiteness of the eyes could represent a lot of things. The ones that I ran into the woods at nighttime, they had white eyes. You see in the videos where you see the white eyes shine, or just the white eyes that I've caught during the day and at nighttime. Do you think the white eyes could represent something being possessed?
Yeah, that's definitely one thing as I see it as. I also see it as you're no longer the one in control. Something else is.
Yeah, there's something else might be in control of the individual. I've seen it in people when they're not themselves. People, I guess the term that they will call it is schizophrenia or psychosis, where the person don't know what to say or what they do because something else is in charge or something else is in control of the vessel. Basically, that's what I'm saying. That the only thing at that time I was too young, but now that I'm older, if I will see something like that, I will put that spirit to the test. I will tie Brandon Brick in Jesus Christ's name to see what will happen. But if that wouldn't have worked, then they say, well, this dog got the rabies and it's going to bite me. He was going to come for me, so you got to defend yourself. This was, I think, would be one reason I would take a weapon with me, but to the woods just in case I run into something like that. Dude, there's been a couple of times that I ran into dogs out there. Besides what people call the dog man or the DDN. The time that I ran into the little dog, it was a little puppy that I found out there. Then when I look into the video, I say, wait a moment, there's a little puppy, but there's something looking at the little puppy. Then when I would see the little puppy, the eyes were like be white. And I'm like, why is it got like a white eye shine, So that puppy spent the night here at my house. Then the following day, I found a home for it. And when I was getting it from underneath the vehicle, the little puppy had like a little white glare in his eyes. So we're talking in the spirits of dog man. I wonder if the little puppy that I found was a little dog man. And it was a puppy. Y'all remember that video where I found the puppy in the woods? And I'm like, what is a little puppy doing out in the woods? Who left it out here? And I took him and found him a home. Then I have another one where I ran into a dog that came running towards me, but it was somebody else's dog that was out there in the woods too. They were out there doing a nature trail walk. I think I have a picture of the puppy somewhere where I'm holding it.
Yeah, you
You
probably.
remember?
I don't remember seeing it, but I definitely remember you encountering like a couple on their dog while you were doing like an investigation, and another video where you can actually hear a dog barking or something.
Yeah. It's very peaceful here, man, where I'm at. I just don't know what happened to let me see if I can find the picture. My other phone that had all my photos, man, gave out on me.
So
I
there's
don't know
no.
what happened. It just started turning off, and the phone would just turn on and shut off, turn on and shut off. And that's where I would do all my pictures.
You gotta see if you can someone get all those photos back. I gotta try to see if I can do like a take it to a shop if it was me.
Yeah, but I think we hit the 3 hour marker now,
Oh yeah, we hit it already.
and we still have 30 viewers here. Is there
Yeah.
anything you would like to share with them, Andres? Any, or you're ready to go? I think I got a video of the eye shine, man. What I'm talking about. When I went to an investigation here in Temple. Let me see if I can find that real quick. See if I can find the one with the eye shine of the when he was running, so people can see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, we've been having a pretty good show here tonight.
Yeah, we kind of been all over the place, but still a good show.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of things, but and it's trying to keep it to the topic of dogs,
Yep.
because you hear all these people being attacked by dogs, and
I just saw right now while I was looking up the case about that woman that apparently that there's already another case about like 9 hours ago where a woman was attacked by 3 pit bulls.
3 pebbles, yeah. That woman got messed up bad. They had to cut her arms and her legs. I'm just trying to figure out why people want to have. Is this it? Oh man. How many pit bulls? 3 pit bulls?
3, and that was like 9 hours ago. I just looked it up. Like I was looking up the woman who was attacked in Oklahoma by the dog-like creature, and it says like, and that came up in the search results, but that wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah, there's been like 3 women that have been attacked. Here you go. I'm gonna share this, and then we can call it a night. Let me show the footage about the white eye shine that I'm talking about here. I hope. Shout out to Paranormal Roundtable, to Brother Josh Turner, Sister Nellie Turner, Anthony, Tony, and Sister Madeline. I know they're busy all the time with work and stuff. Uh, let me share this real quick. Look how fast it moves on this photo, on this video. There it is, white eye shine, and it's moving fast.
Yep. The same freaking night that you got the witch.
Yeah, and it's moving hell of a fast. Oh, what happened? There you go. Here it is. It's running, and let me go back a little bit so you can see the white eye shine. There you go, white eye shine
Yep.
with the light hitting it, and then even before that, it had white eye shine when the light wasn't even hitting it. I think I have another video in the darkness where you could see the white eye shine. What do you think that could be? That moves that fast and is
I have no idea, but my first instinct, assuming I'm right, I would automatically think it's like a Sasquatch because it's 2 eyes, it's very tall, and it's fast. But it's not something you can see like the whole thing. You can just see the eye shine from it. And the only reason you're
yeah,
but you even see that is either from the light or because of the ritual or whatever that was happening at the same time. And the witch was glowing the same color because it's like a white candlelight.
yeah. There it is. It's gonna show. Let me stop it on the white eye shine. Back a little bit. There it is. And that's how I lowered the speed. The regular speed is 1 second. It moves fast in 1 second. Let me see if I can find the bruja. Because did the bruja have white eye shine? I can't remember.
No, all the Bruja was doing was like her face was like, if I remember correctly, was shape shifting, in through the tree.
And she didn't have no white eyes.
No, her eyes were just voids.
Yeah. I guess we can share her for Bruja Friday. Alrighty. Oh, shoot. Well, I just want to say thank you to Andres Sage Coley for being on here, cousin Jesse for jumping on. Went for 3 hours. I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's live. I do have a lot of photos, a lot of short reels on my YouTube channel. Short reels, and I got short reels on TikTok under APCS at Not 5. Of these manifestations that I've captured, what they take, how they look, there's movement, where they're moving, and shadow figures, things that I capture out there. Is there anything you would like to say to the viewers? We're 32 strong right now.
Just remember one thing when it comes to anything into this side of the world that people will continue to stay ignorant of and won't admit it, even the church. Always keep your mind open to any and all possibilities. Don't ever rule anything out because, let's admit it, we're not going to know everything, especially in this life, because there's so much we can only take in. That's why it says. That's why it says in the Bible we can't rely on our own understanding. We have to just take it in and just go along with it, whether we like it or not.
And you know what? These demons are slick. They'll manifest, show themselves to you, and then when you say something to somebody, they're gonna think you're crazy. But there's one difference. If you have evidence to prove what you're saying, if the evidence there, the evidence is there. So you're not crazy. It's just they're they like to hide in between the technicalities of the spiritual realm, right?
Yep.
They they like to hide that way. So people won't believe what you're saying. They're going to think they're going to try to make you look crazy and all kinds of things because they know how to, how should I say, lie or blend in the lie. So people will think that you're lying. You're not speaking the truth. That's what the enemy does, you know. But if you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, maintain your heavenly love foundation, and you're being blessed with the spiritual good discernment, they have to identify themselves to you. I think somebody asked me one time, "How come you capture all these things?" Uh, because they're identifying themselves to me through spiritual law. They might not say something to me directly, but they're showing themselves on the camera or in the videos of what they are. They're so long they show themselves, they're still identifying themselves of what I'm dealing with. There's been times that I've been out there and I hear like growling sounds or a pig sound. When I hear a pig sound and there's no pigs around me, that's already let me know what they're identifying themselves to me when they're making the pig sounds. We know what happened in the Bible with the swine,
Yep.
Jesus Christ, with the man that was possessed. So when I hear a pig sound on my EVPs or the recordings capture, I already know that it's something that's where what's the pig sounds is the legion, demonic.
Not to mention, Jesus actually told the demonic entity and the man to identify itself. So that's just another proof of spiritual law.
So when they show themselves on the photo, they're through spiritual law, they're identifying themselves to me because they know that I have my love foundation. So when they identify themselves to me, that's when, and sometimes I don't see it. I'm not seeing it physically or visually. It's afterwards when I capture it. So I go into prayer or I rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name. Spiritual warfare, and it happens, man. I've heard it when some of these people, that are hunting things like Bigfoot or the dog man, and they say certain things happen. They're identifying themselves to what they are. When they say, "I heard it," I heard the three banging, something banging the wood 3 times. I heard three rocks cracking. God, God, God. I heard 3 yells because they're identifying themselves to you what they are. We already know what we spoke about earlier, what the three stands for. What does it stand for under this?
Yeah, you're gonna have to repeat that. I blacked out for a second, man.
Oh, when you talk about threes and they're identifying themselves to you, like when they
Oh,
said that the big banging on the trees 3 times or yelling 3 times or hitting the rocks 3 times, it's
oh,
identifying itself to what it is.
yeah, it's demonic in nature.
That's right. But in saying that, I know you're falling asleep, brother. Thank you, brother Andres, for being on. And like you said whatever you want to say before we go.
Well, thank you for letting me on. I hope everybody enjoying this live. Thank you for the honor of being on here with you on your panel. Just listen to the words I said earlier, everyone. All right, Abe, I'm going to be in the chat until you log off. All right, well, God bless you and may watch the Heavenly Father watch over us all.
Good night and God bless you, brother.
Yes, same to you.
You have to pay attention, brothers and sisters, to the things that happen around you, especially If you're out there investigating or certain things start happening around you that you don't understand, you know, I would say to have a relationship with Jesus Christ because he's the one that protects us. He's a protector and a revenger. He's the one that can bless us and heal us. Because these things, that's what they do, you know. They'll go against the Trinity. So they try to find spiritual openings to attach themselves to people to make them sick. And at times, which I've seen in the cryptic community and paranormal community, is to take out people. If they're attached to them enough, is to take out the vessel. That's what they do. And we've lost a lot of people, right? I've lost loved ones to the balance. But here I am still trying to do my spiritual works. But anyways, brothers and sisters, thank you everybody for tuning in. God bless every single one of y'all. I see 32 people. I have a chat here on Restream that y'all can jump on the Restream chat. If you click onto the link of the Restream, you're able to jump in. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're watching, thank you, brothers and sisters. And if you've got any questions you want to ask, you can contact me through Messenger. If you're going through something spiritual, contact me through Messenger. I'll give you my advice on how to overcome what you're going through. But in saying that, good night, everybody. God bless you. And thank you all for tuning into Werewolf Wednesday. Love, light, and blessings to you and your family. This is Brother Apesius, Sarcius, and a big hee-haw to y'all. Good night, everybody.